Many of us approach prayer as a transactional exchange, a cosmic request for an immediate result. When our specific desires aren't met on our schedule, that frustration often leads to spiritual burnout. But Islamic tradition defines supplication, or dua, as the highest possible form of worship. It is categorized as the only human action with the capacity to alter taqdir, the divinely ordained destiny that governs our lives. This creates a difficult question. Why do our most urgent calls sometimes feel like they are hitting a physical barrier, unheard and unanswered? The answer lies in spiritual signal interference. An accepted prayer requires a foundation of integrity, beginning with the absolute necessity of halal, or lawful sustenance. The income that feeds and clothes us must be ethically earned to support the weight of the request. The Prophet Muhammad illustrated this with the account of a traveler, exhausted and covered in the dust of a long journey, who raises his hands to the sky, crying out to his Lord. Despite his state of need, his prayer is rejected because his food, his drink, and his clothing were all acquired through unlawful means. Beyond ethics, there is the barrier of the clock. Prophetic guidance warns that a prayer remains valid and moving toward acceptance right up until the believer becomes impatient and complains, "I prayed, but I was not answered." A silence from the divine is often an invitation to check our own spiritual architecture. We are encouraged to repair our internal state, our earnings, and our patience before expecting the external world to change. Once the internal conditions are met, the focus shifts to the external coordinates of time and space. While God is always listening, the prophetic tradition maps out specific open windows where the veil is notably thinner. The first of these windows exists in the charged silence between the adhan, the call to prayer, and the iqama. This brief interval is identified as a time when requests are never turned away. There is also a spatial coordinate of extreme proximity. This occurs during sajda, or prostration. The mechanics of the prostration create a spiritual paradox. At the exact moment a human brings their physical body to its absolute lowest point on the earth, their soul achieves its closest possible distance to the Creator. The most profound daily window occurs in the deep silence of the last third of the night. Theology describes the Creator descending to the lowest heaven during this time, specifically to listen. During these pre-dawn hours, a direct invitation is issued. Who is calling me that I may answer? Who is asking me that I may give? These specific times and postures are the deliberate coordinates where human vulnerability is designed to align with focused divine attention. Even when the timing is perfect, we often struggle to find the words to express the depth of our needs. To bridge this gap, the Kutub al-Sitta, the primary collections of hadith, preserve 10 specific formulas designed to unlock divine assistance. The first is the Isme Azam, the invocation of the greatest name of Allah. The Prophet taught that when a believer asks using these specific words of divine oneness and self-sufficiency, the request is granted. Then there is Dua Yunus, originating from the Prophet Jonah in the absolute darkness of the whale's belly. This prayer of desperation acts as a failsafe for modern distress, prioritizing divine perfection over human error. The third is Sayyidul Istighfar, the master of seeking forgiveness. It is a comprehensive acknowledgement of one's relationship with the Creator. The texts state that reciting it with conviction guarantees paradise to a believer who passes away that same day or night. These preserved phrases provide us with the exact language used by prophets to navigate their own disasters, removing the need for us to invent our own words during a crisis. This prophetic vocabulary provides specific protocols for modern daily life. The remaining invocations target worldly pressures like debt, beneficial knowledge, and pure sustenance. They also establish spiritual defenses against earthly harm, keeping one's faith steadfast in a chaotic world. The Quran teaches a balance for these requests in Surah Baqarah, instructing the believer to ask for the best of this world while simultaneously securing safety in the eternal life to come. Having access to this vocabulary equips the believer with a specific response for every internal and external pressure they face. It replaces the feeling of being a passive observer with a sense of direct agency through the Creator. Integrating these times, conditions, and specific words creates a deliberate protocol for peace. By aligning our lives with this prophetic architecture, we maintain a constant and reliable connection to the divine.